cat was just minding its own business, chasing its own tail when it accidentally knocked over a nearby time machine. Time machines are very dangerous. You should never play near them unless you want to go back in time and get yourself killed by a T-Rex. But our little AI cat didn't know that. And when it looked around to see if anything was following it, it only saw a bunch of angry birds. So it decided to run away. But as soon as it activated the time machine, it got zapped and sent back in time. When it landed, it found itself in the middle of the Stone Age. Everything was made out of stone and everyone was dressed in loincloths. The cat thought this place looked pretty primitive, but it also thought it looked kind of cute, so it decided to stick around for a while. The cat walked down a dirt road and came across a village elder who was sitting on a rock. The cat rubbed against his leg and purred, and the old man petted it and gave it some fish to eat. Then the cat noticed some cavemen playing what appeared to be a very primitive form of charades. They were stomping their feet and making loud noises, and the cat thought it looked pretty funny, so it decided to join in on the fun. The cat tried to stomp its feet and roar like a dinosaur, but it just ended up looking like a fool. The cavemen all laughed at it, and the cat felt humiliated. It wanted to go back in time and prove to them that it was actually a fierce and powerful creature. So it jumped into the nearby river and swam towards the time machine. When it arrived, it looked around to make sure nobody was following it, then activated the time machine and got zapped again. This time it landed in ancient Egypt. The cat thought this place looked pretty cool. There were pyramids everywhere and people were dressed in robes and turbans. The cat walked through the streets and came across a group of workers who were building a pyramid. They were carrying huge blocks of stone, and the cat thought it looked pretty impressive, so it decided to help them out. The cat pushed and shoved the stones all day long, and the workers were grateful for its help. When the pyramid was finally finished, they all celebrated with a big feast, and the cat was honored to be included. After eating its fill, the cat went to find the pharaoh and rub against his feet. The pharaoh was impressed by the cat's intelligence and decided to make it a member of the royal court. The cat lived a life of luxury for many years, but it never forgot about its mission to go back in time and show those cavemen how powerful it really was. So one night while everyone was sleeping, it snuck out of the palace and returned to the river. It jumped into the water and swam towards the time machine, hoping it would take her back to the Stone Age. But when it got there, it found that someone had already activated it and destroyed it. The cat was devastated. It never got the chance to go back and impress those cavemen, but luckily, it wasn't stuck in the past. A portal opened up and the cat jumped through and found itself in a new location. The cat thought this place looked pretty cool. There were ships everywhere and people were dressed in eye patches and bandanas. The cat realized it had traveled back to the pirate era. The cat thought about going back to the future, but it decided to stay and have some fun. The cat walked onto a pirate ship and rubbed against the captain's face. The captain was so startled that he spilled his grog. Then the cat chased a mouse across the deck, and the pirates cheered it on. The cat felt like a hero. After a while, the cat got bored of the pirates and missed its own time. So it went back to the river and used the last of its energy to activate the time machine. It landed in the future where everything was made of metal and glass. The cat thought this place looked pretty cool, but it was also pretty scared. It didn't know if it could trust anyone here. The cat walked down a crowded street and came across a group of humans and robots. They were all staring at their phones, and the cat thought it looked pretty funny, so it jumped up on a nearby billboard and started chasing its own tail. The humans and robots all stopped and stared at the cat, and it felt like a celebrity. But then a robot approached the cat and offered to pet it. The cat was nervous at first, but then it realized that not all robots were dangerous. The cat and the robot became friends, and the robot even took the cat home to meet its family. The cat was so grateful for the robot's kindness that it decided to stay in the future. But then as it was settling down, it heard a familiar sound. The time machine had been repaired and a human was getting ready to activate it. The cat was shocked. It couldn't believe that someone else had built a time machine. It had only been a few minutes since it left. But who was this person and where were they from? The cat was too scared to find out. It ran away and hid in an alley. The human stepped out of the time machine and looked around. The cat was trembling, but the human didn't seem to notice. Maybe this person wouldn't be dangerous. The cat cautiously approached and rubbed against its leg. The human gasped and dropped his toolbox. He had never seen a talking cat before. The cat was shocked too. It couldn't believe that humans and robots could be so friendly. Maybe the future wasn't so bad after all.